They're all done.
I wonder, I was gonna say, I wonder if I went into my Wegmans in Webster,
You want me to go now?
but it's.
Can you hear me now? Try again?
People don't.
Oh, okay.
Individual.
Call the meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge. Good morning, everybody. You will see that there has been a change in the time that was approved at the last board meeting for this meeting. We had to move up the time due to availability of the LGI room for recording purposes. The reason that we are here today is for new business, old business, for the approval of the bid award. Does he need to speak at all before we do anything?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes or no? It's up to you.
Oh,
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
if you want to, so if you'll just.
Sorry. Does red mean it's on, right? Okay, just a quick update. You might remember from 1 or 2 board meetings ago, you approved a couple of the contracts that were within budget. We went back out to bid. Happy to report, very happy to report that the rest of the contracts are now in budget. And we have a healthy contingency as well, so that's a good thing. I know there's a couple of things we'd like to revisit as we get closer to the end of the project, and I'm optimistic right now we'll have some money for that. Don't want to promise anything yet, but we're right on track. Brian did the D-scope. I sat through a couple of them. Everything went well. Everyone honored their bids, no issues there. Bonds are starting to come in. The draft notice of proceeds came from the architect. We're going to finalize the contracts now, get everything going, and then there'll be a pre-construction meeting within the next, I would say, week. Pre-construction is simply us revisiting all the rules that were in the bid, timelines, things like that, when our meetings will be, our regular meetings with contractors will be, and what their start dates will be. That'll get the GC, which their name just slipped me right now, but the GC Iverson will then be on the clock to get us their schedule. So the GC is responsible for the main schedule, and then we fit in all of the other contractors to make sure there's no conflicts. It's basically a coordination document. So that will start here within the next week or so. So once we have that over, we'll obviously share that with the district facilities committee and things like that. But good news though, we are definitely in good shape financially. And then as we get going, Brian and I have both, obviously, as I mentioned before, we'll share a financial update with you, things like that. But we don't like to share a lot of the contingencies and things out loud, but we'll make sure that we're pleased with the way the bids came in. They're much more, let's say, in line with what we expected. So any questions with that? Our next step, like I said, is the schedule, but it's also lead time items. So lead time items, Brian's actually working on this morning with a couple of the contractors to get submittals in. We have a meeting with the architects. I think it's tomorrow afternoon. I'm meeting with them to find out what their process will be, because we're going to need to turn submittals around quickly. So your process obviously is contract, which we're at that stage. Nothing to be concerned with there. Next step will be submittals coming in. Once submittals are approved by the architect and the engineers, it goes to being ordered. So this is the time where we kind of step on the gas real hard. A lot of times this is where projects start to get behind. They get behind before we've ever built anything because of paperwork. So this is what I'm kind of very aggressive with right now. Let's just put it that way, is that all the submittals are coming in, release everything to be ordered before we get into the real crazy season. And let's find out what the lead time is on items, stuff like that. This is the critical part right now. So I know the building's important, but to me, it's if things aren't ordered, they're not coming. Let's put it that way. And this is where we're at right now. So any questions with that at all? But we're pleased. We're pleased with the bids. And we have some good contractors. Brian was pleased with all of them, meeting with them. So, and their financials they're all solvent. I reviewed all of those. Things look good there. Isn't their first rodeo, which is the main thing. We're not training people while we're building. Let them train somewhere else. Right now, we need to get moving, so.
Bill, I had a quick question. Do
Mhm.
you have any updates from the bids that were approved at our previous board meeting? If you want to give an
Yep,
update
sure.
there.
All of those are in motion. The contracts, I believe, are all finalized. If they're not finalized, they're just waiting for the final review. But I think they are finalized at this point, yeah. They came back from the attorneys, things like that. So that those contractors were just in a bit of a holding pattern, although the mechanical contractor already has submittals in on the mechanical equipment. That's part of the meeting tomorrow is I need those approved, like now, to get those released, get those into the queue. Mechanical, some electrical equipment, although in this project, we're not super concerned. But certainly mechanical equipment is the longest lead time items right now. That and doors. Doors are the killers right now. But so we're going to make sure of that, make sure that process is moving. That's the next step. Now that all the contractors are on board, we'll start the actual biweekly construction meetings. For the first one being the pre-construction. And of course, you know, for obviously for you, Natalie and Derek, or whoever else, Mike, those minutes are available. Those meetings have minutes to every single one of them. We're constantly hammering on schedule. That's the schedule and labor rate, labor amounts. Once you start building, the key is that they're at a labor amount that we expect. So if they're sending out one electrician, we feel it should be 3 or 4. That's what we're hounding on because we don't want to hear it at the end that they need overtime or they need additional hours or they need when they didn't send out the proper labor to begin with. They chose to bid it. They won the bid. They need to operate. You know, they need to do the job according to the specs and according to what's expected of them. Preliminarily, everyone has said that that's fine. That's part of the descope that we do. But yeah, those contracts are moving. They're ready to go. Next will be insurance things like that. But we'll have all that soon. If it's not already coming in. I don't look at all of it until it's complete, just to make sure. Oh. Anything else? Good.
All right, thank you. All right, then I will be looking for a motion to approve the bid award for the Honeoye Central School District 2024 Capital Improvement Project recommendations.
I'll move.
In a second? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, that's carried. And then I will be looking for a motion to adjourn.
I'll move.
Who's second? Okay,
I'll do.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, that is carried. This meeting is adjourned.